ever dream of having a second passport. I mean, who hasn't, right? But what if instead of being this huge expense, it could actually make you money? That's what we're diving into today, this whole idea of what experts call citizenship investment. Basically, turning that second passport dream into a smart financial move. And to help us navigate this whole thing, we have an expert from Nomad Capitalists. They're really shaking things up with their unique approach to global citizenship. Welcome.
So this idea of a profitable passport, it's kind of mind-blowing, to be honest. I mean, most people think, okay, pay a fee, get a passport.
Yeah, it's definitely a different way of looking at it.
Like those Caribbean programs, we hear about those all the time. But this is different, right? All right, a lot of countries, they want foreign investment, but they don't always shout about it, you know? It's about understanding what a country needs and figuring out if that matches up with your goals.
So it's more than just handing over a stack of cash. It's about investing strategically in a way that benefits both you and the country.
Exactly. Think of it like fast-track naturalization. But instead of just a fee, you're actually contributing something tangible. It could be tourism, real estate, even government bonds.
So it's all above board legally.
Of course. Of course. Everything is within a legal framework. We call it legal arbitrage, basically, working within the existing laws to find those win-win scenarios.
Legal arbitrage, I like the sound of that. It's like finding a loophole, but instead of saving on taxes, you're getting a second citizenship. So how does this work in the real world? Got any examples?
Sure. Let's talk about Turkey. They've got this program where investing in real estate can put you on the fast track to citizenship.
Oh yeah, Turkey. I've heard about that.
Yeah.
So what makes their program stand out financially?
Okay, so say you buy an apartment in Istanbul, right? A nice place right in the heart of it all. The minimum investment is around $250,000 these days.
Okay.
Now, not only do you have this potential investment in a growing market, but you can also rent it out. We're talking average rental yields of around 4%. That's like $10,000 annually just coming in.
Wow.
You're essentially offsetting a huge chunk of your initial citizenship investment with that rental income.
That's incredible. So you're not just buying a passport, you're making an investment that could actually make you money, potentially paying for a good portion of itself. That makes getting a second passport seem so much more attainable.
Exactly. And that's the beauty of these profitable passports. But of course, every country has its own rules, its own economic situation.
Right. So it's not like every investment in Turkish real estate is guaranteed to be profitable. This is where doing your homework and getting expert advice comes in, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Understanding the specifics of each program is crucial.
Now, I bet some of our listeners are thinking, okay, a Turkish passport is cool, but what about those really powerful passports, the ones that let you travel to like a million countries without a visa?
You're hitting on a really important point. When you're thinking about investing in citizenship, you have to ask yourself, what am I really looking for?
It's a trade-off, isn't it? You weigh the potential financial gains against how desirable the passport itself is.
Exactly. Let's take Austria as an example. They've got one of the most sought-after passports in the world, no doubt. But it'll cost you like 10 million euros.
10 million, wow.
Yeah, and even then, getting citizenship isn't guaranteed.
So you could pour a fortune into Austria, hoping for the best, or you explore other options like Turkey, where it's a bit easier to get in and you've got a better chance of seeing a return on your investment, and faster too. It all comes down to what you're aiming for, how much risk you're comfortable with.
Exactly. There's no one right answer. What makes a passport profitable really depends on your personal circumstances and what you're hoping to achieve.
This is already so insightful. So we've got free passports, which we'll get to later. That's the whole ancestry route. And now we've got profitable passports through investment. It sounds like finding the right path means doing your research, knowing yourself, and most importantly, finding the right experts to guide you. Speaking of which, are there any common traps people should watch out for when they're looking into citizenship investment?
People think they can just figure it all out on their own, but that's a big mistake.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. There's just so much to consider. Legal stuff, the country's economy, even their politics. It gets complicated fast.
So Googling best citizenship by investment, that's not going to cut it.
Not even close. Those lists, they can be super misleading, even risky. You wouldn't believe how many scams are out there. People desperate for a second passport, it's easy pickings.
So due diligence is key here. This isn't just a new TV. We're talking life-changing financial decisions, often involving foreign countries, laws we might not know anything about.
Exactly. That's where working with a reputable firm, someone like Nomad Capitalist, it's essential, really. They've got the experience, they're on the ground in these countries, know the programs inside and out.
It's like they always say, if you think it's expensive to hire a professional, try hiring an amateur. You definitely don't want to mess around when it comes to citizenship, especially with your financial future on the line.
Couldn't agree more. It's not worth the risk.
Okay, so we've talked about the good stuff, the benefits, and we've touched on the need for experts. But what about I don't know, the ethics of it all? Some people might feel weird about this, like you're buying citizenship.
Yeah, I get that. It's a valid concern. But remember, these programs, they're designed to be mutually beneficial. These investments, they go towards developing the country, creating jobs, boosting the economy.
So it's not just about personal gain, but also about contributing to something bigger.
Right. And a lot of these countries, they're not just letting anyone in. They have strict background checks. They want to make sure you're bringing value to the table, not just your money.
So money's important, but it's also about finding an opportunity that aligns with your values and what you want to achieve.
100%. And that's something we're big on at Nomad Capitalist, helping our clients figure that out.
Okay, so for those listening who are like, all right, I'm interested, where do I start? What are some concrete steps they can take?
First things first, think about why you want that second passport. What's the goal? Are you trying to diversify, find better business opportunities, create a more secure future for your family?
So connect your passport strategy to your overall life goals.
Exactly. Then do your research, really dig deep, and of course, talk to the experts. Get personalized advice because everyone's situation is different.
And that's where Nomad Capitalist steps in,
Yeah.
right? Connecting the dot between what people want and the opportunities out there.
That's a big part of it. We're here to guide people through this whole process, make it less confusing, and help them find the best path forward.
This has been eye-opening. We've talked about how these profitable passports actually work, the ethics involved, why expert advice is so crucial. But hey, let's not forget those free passports, the ones you might already be eligible for without even knowing it.
Oh, yeah. Citizenship by descent, that's a gold mine. So many people overlook that.
It's like unearthing a secret passport in your family tree.
Exactly.
But we'll dive into that fascinating topic right after this. Stay with us. Okay, so we're back. And you know what? I gotta say, this whole free passport thing, it's really got me intrigued.
Yeah, it's definitely a fascinating side of
It
things.
almost feels too good to be true, you know?
I know what you mean. It's like this hidden treasure,
Yeah.
right? Discovering this ancestral link that could open up a whole new country for you.
It really is like inheriting a piece of global mobility or something, like a gift from your ancestors.
Exactly. And for a lot of people, it's more than just the passport. It's that connection to their past, to their family history. It means something.
Absolutely. So where do you even start with this? How do you go from like a vague story about your great-grandmother being from the old country to actually holding that second passport?
Well, research is key, obviously. You've got to gather those family records, trace back your family tree, really put the pieces together.
That sounds like it could get pretty complicated.
Oh, it can be, but that's where firms like Nomad Capitalist, they really shine. They've got these genealogists, researchers who specialize in this stuff. They can navigate those archives, find those missing links.
So it's not just about like messing around on Ancestry.com. You often need real professionals, right, to dig up those crucial documents and then figure out the legal side of things.
Exactly. Every country has its own set of rules about citizenship by descent. Some are super generous, like you could be eligible going back generations. Others, not so much.
I bet there's a ton of red tape, too. Language barriers, confusing bureaucracy, things like that. It sounds like you really need the right help to navigate it all.
Oh, for sure. It's not always easy. But with the right guidance, it can be such a rewarding experience, both personally and strategically, of course.
It's amazing, isn't it? These two paths, profitable passports, free passports, they seem so different, but in the end, it's all about the same thing. More options, more freedom, a more global future.
Absolutely. It all comes back to that desire for freedom, for flexibility.
It's like having a plan B for your life, you know? And in a world that feels less and less certain, that's pretty powerful.
No doubt about it.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground today. We've busted some myths about second passports, explored those two distinct but interconnected paths to global citizenship, the profitable passports, and the ancestry route. It's been quite a journey. As we wrap things up here, I'm left with a sense of optimism, honestly. The world might just be a bit more within reach than we often think. So, to everyone listening, keep exploring, keep asking those questions. Who knows, maybe one of these paths is your ticket to a more globally mobile future. That's it for us today. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.